Well, in business news, President Bola Tinubu has approved the nomination of Dr. Yemi Cardoso to serve as the new governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria for a term of 5 years at the first instance, pending his confirmation by the Nigerian Senate. This directive is in conformity with Section 8 of the Central Bank of Nigeria's Act 2007, which vests in the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria the authority to appoint the governor and 4 deputy governors for the Central Bank of Nigeria, subject to confirmation by the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu also approved the 4 deputy governors and for the same term of 5 years in the first instance, pending their confirmation too. They are as follows: Mrs. Nana Usoro, Mr. Mohammed Sani, and Abdullahi Datijo, Mr. Philip Ikeazo, Mr. Bala Bello. Joining me live via Zoom to discuss more about this development is an economist with professional experience that cuts across investment banking, project and finance management, and financial consulting, Chief Consultant, B.Adedipe Associates Limited, Dr. Biodun Adedipe. Doc, thank you so much for your time on the news.
It's my pleasure being with you tonight.
Let me start very quickly and say that when you hear this name, starting with Mr. Yemi Cardoso and others on that list, what comes to your mind?
Well, thank you so very much for that. I think the first thing that came to my mind is that Mr. President has made the very right call, and that is looking at these individuals in terms of their antecedents professionally, and also in terms of what I would call their, not just their competence now, but the trust quotient. So you can say then that, look, these are people who have demonstrated already in the past in different endeavors within the banking industry where they have served, and maybe one or two of them are still serving anyway. And of course, in other endeavors, especially the governor of the CBN nominated, who had been also in public service. So when you look at such records, and you have no doubt in terms of the issue of integrity and then competence. So what comes to you first is that this is very good for Nigeria, because Mr. President has made right choices from my own personal, immediate assessment.
Monetary policy issues at this time remains very key and must align with the fiscal side, all moves being made by government. What would you advise as after confirmation and they get on board? What are you thinking should be the first or quick wins, if there are any?
Right. I think the central thing for us now is for the Central Bank of Nigeria to return to its core mandate, and that is primarily as the custodian of the Nigerian currency, the Naira. And that comes from 2 major perspectives. One is the real value of that currency, which talks to inflation targeting, a core mandate of the central bank. The other side now is the exchange value of that currency. So if central bank returns to that, then it means on a day-to-day basis, the kind of choices the leadership will make, the kind of decisions they make, and the actions that follow will line up in that particular direction, and ensuring also that whatever instruments and tools they choose also make monetary policy to be aligned with fiscal policy, which has been a major challenge over the years in Nigeria, or maybe I should say decades. So but the most important thing here is to also put monetary policy in the right perspective, and that is talking about the things you should pay attention to. First is the price of money. That talks about interest rates. And then also the flip side of that, which they call the cost of credit, in which case the price of money talks to deposits in the banking system. The cost of money talks about lending rates. Okay, like Mr. President said in his inauguration speech, that having MPR at now close to 20% per annum is rather high and business unfriendly. So that is an area I expect the new management to interrogate properly and look at how we align that with the strategic economic agenda, and of course, ensuring that CBN is in line with what monetary policy should really do, and return to the basics of monetary policy. As I said, the basics will mean we go back to what central bank is supposed to be doing. Yes, we know that in the global financial crisis of 2008 to 2010, many central banks and reserve banks around the world had gone pragmatic. And we had also had our own dose of best. There is a time we have to return to the basics and do central banking the way it is supposed to be done.
I must thank you so much, Dr. Biodun Adedipe, Chief Consultant, B.Adedipe Associates Limited, for your time on the news tonight.
Thank you for having me, Tolu.
All right.